Good day, viewers. My name is Reverend Clifford Irondo, the curate of the Anglican Church of the Holy Spirit, Bronx, New York. Our address is 3840 Seaton Avenue in Bronx. And today we have the doctor with us. Doctor, you're welcome again.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to discuss an important topic today. We have been talking about different topics on health, and doctor has been doing justice to them. And today we have another aspect of health which we neglect, and that is falls and frailty. Falls. People fall, and that's the beginning of their problem. So, Dr. Somechukwu Onoha, you're welcome. Can you explain it to us in a layman's language?
Thank you very much, viewers. So we're back at it again today. Today we'll be talking of more of a functional medicine. So we talk about falls and frailty. So I will define it and put the stage of put a stage as to what we're going to be discussing. Falls. Falls for this talk would be an inadvertent or unintentional descent to a lower level or the floor. So if you decide to jump from the roof of this house, that is not a fall. So a fall, it has unintentional, inadvertent, descending from an upper position to a lower position or the ground. So even if you don't make it to the floor, but you have descent from an upper position to a lower position that is unintentional, that is a fall. Frailty. Frailty is actually an index which we try to define by looking at a gamut of things. There are actually about 5 things we look at to define frailty. But in terms of definition, frailty is an impairment of psychological reserve. It's decreased response by your physiological system. Frail means you are not able to react as quickly as you do. It could be because of old age, it could be because of ill health, it could be because of many things. And we use some indices to define it. When there's an impairment of your walking speed, that is the speed at which you ambulate or walk. When you have unintentional weight loss, when you have poor hand grip, so you're holding things and it's like they're falling off from your hand. And you have emotional exhaustion, or you have a decline in your physical function. There are 5 things. If you have impairment in 3 out of these 5 things, we classify you as being frail. In our society today, falls and frailty is a very big thing, especially in older adults, mainly in extremes of life. So very young, they fall all the time because they run around so much. Older adults from 65 and above, they fall because of impaired physiologic mechanism, like I mentioned. And also for the records, here in America, we do not say somebody is old until they are 65 years and above. So if you're 65 to 75 to 74, we say you are young old. So you're still young. If you're 75 to 84, we say you're middle old. And if you're 85 and above, we just say you're old. We don't want to say you're old because we still want you to be around. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, doctor. You gave us the range which we are categorized. That was very, very interesting. You know, you spoke to us about the fall. You gave us a working definition about what fall and frailty is all about. You know, I discovered that a lot of people, most of our people fall as a result of bad roads because of pothole everywhere. But in America, it's a very big problem. I know that back home, people fall for different reasons, but it's not as bad as we hear. Here, there's a lot of law cases going on because of fall. But I want us, where are people likely to fall? Can you tell us?
Thank you. No, like all the questions that come in. You see, fall is very passionate to me. I've worked on falls for a long time. I have a mentor of mine called Professor Bernard Isaacs in London, and he said, it takes a child 1 year to walk. it takes a child 10 years to achieve independent mobility. But it takes an adult 1 day to lose all this. So, in terms of fall, where do we fall? Over 75% or 3/4 of our falls occur in and around our homes. So for you to know, you're most likely to fall around your home than outside. And we fall because we're in a familiar environment, we feel we know the environment, we are not very cautious of what we do, and as a result of it, we fall. So the other quarter is we fall outside the home. And this outside the home could be, if it's here in America, we are in the winter season, so it could be sleeping on ice, it could be uneven surface that we are not cognizant of, and also it could be because of physiologic mechanisms. For example, if you have a low level of vitamin D, or if you have low level of vitamin B12, which will alter your sense of perception of your extremities, that could also lead to fall. So where are we likely to fall? 3/4 of fall happen in and around our home, 1/4 of the fall happen outside home.
Yeah, Doctor, thank you so much for that. You know, a lot of people fall in their homes. But especially here in America, if you go to all the hospitals, they take it very, very seriously, because lawsuits comes after a fall, and the people will not get out of it. So, but discover that back home, there's no light. People fall because there's no light. If the environment is well lit, at least you're able to see where they are going. On the streets, there are a lot of places, except in the major cities, no street light. So this is a help to affect people, and people fall for, as people age, their bones are getting weak. So I want us to know who is likely to fall.
Thank you. Who's likely to fall? Like I said, extremes of ages. So the young, below 2 to 4 years, are more likely to fall. This is mainly because of hyperactivity, not having balance, or they are still learning how to walk and how to mobilize effectively. Older adults, as we get older, usually from 65 years and above, we are more likely to fall because we are losing some of our physiologic defense mechanisms. We are having some comorbid conditions that could affect our stability, and we are having other issues. We're having other life events. So we could be thinking about the progress of our kids. We are thinking about many other things. So our mind is not at the things that we do. So if we're to fall, what are the reasons why we are falling? What makes us fall? Okay, so again, there are modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. I just want my audience to know that in medicine, most of the things that happen, there is always something within your control, which you can do. There are other things you cannot control. So falls, there are non-modifiable risk factors. So non-modifiable. As we get older, we tend to fall. We can't modify that one. Then other things will be some disease conditions which we already have. We can't modify it because we already have them. Prior history of fall increases your risk of further falls. So these are the non-modifiable risk factors. There are modifiable ones. So modifiable ones would be things like, most of them are environmental. So like you mentioned, lighting. So you see here is well lit. If you're an older adult and you live anywhere, please make sure they are light. Especially, you can even put floor lights or wall lights, these detachable lights they put on the walls. Make sure, especially your bathroom areas, should be well lit, because most times it's slippery surface, uneven surfaces. This increases your risk of falling. Clutter. If there's wires, extension cords everywhere, it increases your risk of falling. That's environmental. Footwear. Make sure you wear appropriate footwear. We know our women wear the Cinderella shoes, the shoes that bend their feet for them to look very nice. What happens is that with that, your balance is impaired. A little slip, you're on the floor. That increases risk of fall. So the footwear has to be comfortable. Then medical conditions that affect your stability. So prior history of stroke or neuromuscular conditions that affect the strength of your muscles will lead to increased risk of falls. Medications. So if you're on any medication that the doctor gives you this medication, take it to help you to sleep at night. Most of them, which we call sedative hypnotics, notoriously Most of them stay longer in your system. They might affect your function the next day. And please, if you drink medication that is for you to sleep, please go and sleep. Don't take a sleeping medication and start moving around. That is just, you are buying a fall. It's a question of time. So medications, these things are the other things that will increase the risk of fall. So with all these are modifiable risk factors, non-modifiable risk factors that increase our risk of falling. And working on them would be things that will help us in terms of fall prevention.
Thank you.
Hey, I welcome you to the Pew and the Pulpit, coming to you live from the Anglican Church of the Holy Spirit, Bronx, New York. The address is 3840 Seaton Avenue, off 233rd Street, when going towards the highway. And the address is, the zip code is 10466. 10466. Our email address is Anglican Church of the Holy Spirit @yahoo.com. Email us at Anglican Church of the Holy Spirit @yahoo.com. The phone to reach the church by phone, 929-944-3424. 929-944-3424. Come, we worship every Sunday at 11 a.m. It's just a 2-hour service. We are a live and happening church here in the Bronx, New York City, and in the center of New York City. And we are a welcoming congregation. We worship in English. All is welcomed, but we do not believe in gay marriage. So don't come expecting to be wedded in our church, because it's not part of our tradition. We are part of CONAM. CONAM is Church of Nigeria Mission in North America. So we're a full-fledged Church of Nigeria Mission here in America. Come and be blessed. Thank you.
As the doctor said, when you are young, you fall. You may not feel it that time, but when you start getting older, you discover that you begin to feel those pain, the areas you have problems, you begin to feel them. So fall is important to be prevented, both for children. Our children, they run around every time. They want to do one thing or the other. They want to jump. They want to somersault. Please, this is a good. We should be able to control ourselves, control whatever you do, more especially the older people, as doctor said. Doctor, please, what should we do when one falls?
Oh, okay. That's good. I start with, I always like to put things in context, before you fall. And what happens, what you should do when somebody, or you fall, or when somebody falls. I'll explain what happens. Somebody does not fall and you laugh at the person, So one thing is this, in terms of falls, so we've talked about where we fall, the things that lead to us falling, and so on. One thing I want to bring out is the cost implication of falls. We might look at falls as trivial, but here in America, a fall episode costs, in a year, it costs about $40 billion, treating people that fall and come to hospital. Older adults, when they fall, most times they end up with hip fracture. Believe it or not, those that fall and have hip fracture, a good percentage, almost half of them, are not alive a year after. Just to tell you, it's kind of a road to the bad area, falling. So that's why we do everything to prevent falls. Falls can lead to bleed in the brain, especially people who are on blood thinners. Fall can lead to break of any bone you can think of in the body. So falls, it's just bad. Okay, so coming back to your question, in terms of the things that we do, there are many things that we can do. And going through the risk factors, trying to prevent them in some way, shape, or form does help. But in terms of the treatment, what we do is we go in a very organized way. Here in America, we have the body called STADY. There are other Society for Aging. There are so many organizations. I'm sure back home we have some, but we just need to educate our people on what should happen if you fall or somebody falls. Somebody falls. So first thing is try to help the person. Helping the person is you approach the person and then try to look at where they fell. Because if somebody fell on ice, you have to be careful approaching so that you don't add to the second. We don't want a second fall because you could fall while trying to go to help the person. So you have to make sure that the area is safe. Somebody falls in the middle of the road, it might be 911 you need to call. You need somebody that will stop the vehicle. Somebody falls in the rail track, there's a red button they press somewhere in the rail. So you don't jump to the rail tracks to bring the person that has fallen. So the safety is one thing. You have to be conscious of the environment where the person fell and to know if it's safe to go to help. So you checked everything and it's safe to help. You go to the person. So normally you check to be sure they haven't fallen and fractured somewhere. You check if the limbs are moving or not moving. You try to call the person by name. That's the first, to see are they conscious or not conscious. Because if you call and they can't respond, that's another 911 because it's something more than what the layman could handle. But say you call the person and the person could answer you and he shout, oh, my leg, my leg, my leg. Okay, then you look at the leg. It might be somebody, if the somebody is not big enough and you feel you could lift the person safely and you have help, people who can help you, yes, you can help the person to a sitting position with help, not just yourself. That's one way you can help. And of course, if the person you see that is something you cannot help, you just call for help. That's why here we have 911. Back home, well, where we have health challenges, we might work out what to do. So that's one for somebody who fell. Then for yourself, if you fall, unfortunately. So one of the things we do in terms of preventative measures for older adults is the fall alarm. So most of them, you see, they have things they wear. Most insurances cover it so that when they fall, they can press that. Most of them is linked to their phone company and even linked to 911. So they press it because many older adults live alone in this US. So they press it, this sends the signal to these agencies and they can get help very quickly. So if you happen to fall, an older adult or anyone, first thing is look at the environment where you've fallen. See if it's safe enough for you to navigate. See if there's any chair or something that's a higher platform you can hold to come up. That's the first thing, that you can help yourself up. And if you have a fall alarm, you press the fall alarm. That will be the very first thing before you even try anything. If you have your cell phone, then you can call for help. And if you cannot do any of these things, well, at least we are people of faith, you can also pray so that somebody could come to your help. So in a nutshell, this is normally how you go about it if you've fallen or if you witnessed somebody who fell.
Yeah, doctor, thank you so much. If we take you to our country, Nigeria, and we discover that most of the things you mentioned here, 911, sometimes you call 911, the road is not good. Nobody comes to your help. You are living in a house, you don't even have food to eat, not to talk of 911. You know, the road is not good. You fall, people laugh at you. They won't even come to help you. They will laugh at you. They will say, listen, this old man or this old woman, get out of that place. You know, all kinds of things happen. And these are the challenges we face in our country, Nigeria. But it's not like that here. So, but I want us to look at what is the cost implication.
Yeah, like I said, cost implication. It costs so much to treat falls. Prevention, they say, is always better than cure. And especially in falls, considering the age group where falls are most prevalent. Like I said, about $40 billion is spent treating falls in the United States. And the other thing is, in terms of fall statistics, many people who fall, who are older adults, that signals a significant decline in function. Some of them become bedridden, especially when they break their hip. They're not able to walk again. And when they're not able to walk, they start having urinary problems, bowel problems, many other problems start happening. Problems with malnutrition because they're not able to eat the usual things that they want to eat. So in terms of implications and Medicare costs, it costs money to the health service, to the private payers, to the practitioner. Everyone is involved in the cost implication. One other thing I want to mention is in terms of our attempt to prevent falls, both us, our providers, and the patients, everybody is to blame. Some of the providers feel that they do not have enough knowledge to talk about fall. Some feel that they're not adequately reimbursed for fall. Why should I waste my time talking about this? Let me prescribe medication and get going. And then some feel, well, for the patients, they feel, well, fall is and it's part of aging process. So you fall, you take it. Some other people are afraid because they fall, their kids will come and bundle them into the nursing home, so they keep to themselves. So that is very bad. So some of the erroneous things or misconceptions about fall that people feel, well, I'm not going to report fall, because we have it that almost 50% of older adults who fall keep to themselves. They don't report to anyone for many reasons. So if you fall, please report it. It could be something that is preventable. It could be as little as one medication that you're taking is causing the problem while you are falling, and we take it off and then you're good. Some people is as little as an eye drop. There's an eye drop that is called timolol, which reduces the heart rate for some people. That could be what is leading to fall. They feel dizzy and they fall. So always report fall and always ask for help. And when you see your doctor and the doctor tells you tests to be done, please do them. And if you're an older adult and you're a woman, always make sure that you had what we call a bone scan done sometime, what we call a DEXA scan, which checks the strength of your bones.
Thank you, Doctor. We are running almost out of time. Can you just, in a nutshell, tell us how can we prevent fall and general advice for us to prevent this fall? Just in a few words.
Few words. One is fall is due to most times inactivity. So live healthy. Exercise as much as you can. It does not necessarily mean running. It could mean walking around in your house, because inactivity leads to loss of muscle mass. It leads to problem with your joints. It leads to you being weak and fatigued. So activity or exercise helps. Eating healthy also helps, and appropriate medical checks. Eye check, if you have a problem with your eyes, you're always good to check. And also correct lighting and footwear. All these pulled together to help you in terms of fall prevention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Somechukwu Onoha. He's an expert. We can all attest to that. Thank you so much, and I will bring you to the end of this program. God bless you.